Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badharayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namah. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Sunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedaiः Sankapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaskaram. Ye yatha mam prabadhyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. So as I said towards the end of the last class, here Krishna makes another beautiful point in this sloka. What he is implying is that while moksha is a worthwhile goal to pursue, and in fact, everyone unknowingly is seeking moksha or freedom or independence alone. If you sit back and analyze, in and through every pursuit of ours, we are seeking to establish our independence or freedom from dependence. A person living in a rented house wants to own a house, thereby removing his dependence on the landlord. A person traveling by public transport wants to own his own vehicle because he wants independence from the problems faced by using public transport. Like that, you can go on looking at so many examples. Therefore, every human being is unknowingly working towards freedom and freedom alone. And the irony is that we all seek freedom, but due to our ignorance, we do not know what will eventually give us real freedom. So in the process of seeking freedom, what we are doing, we are becoming more and more dependent. Only the type of dependence changes, but the fact of dependence continues. We struggle throughout our life to unravel the secret of gaining lasting and permanent independence, and more often than not, we fail in that. Because we don't realize that We don't realize the truth of the whole thing. Shastra says what you are seeking is independence, and if you have discovered that fact, you are mature enough. And Shastra is so benevolent, so compassionate, that he says, if it says that if you have not discovered this fact, we are ready to allow you to try all other methods first. Seek artha, seek kama, seek dharma, seek swarga, seek everything. And having gone through all of them, and having suffered because of the dependence, finally, when you come back tired and exhausted, Shastra says, I will still be there to help you. This is the reassurance Shastra gives. Therefore, here Krishna says, I will never force moksha purushartha upon anyone, including you, Arjuna. If you say, I am interested in kama, in sense pleasures, I will never tell you, no, you should not enjoy sense pleasures. In fact, Vedas themselves advocate enjoyment of sense pleasures. Varieties of kamya karmas are prescribed in the Vedas. And each karma is for fulfillment of some desire, some pleasure. And we have seen the Itihasa, Purana and all, so many people performing so many yajnas. For what? For fulfillment of certain desires. Therefore, if you are interested in possessions like wealth, earn enough money, buy enough number of houses, own enough number of cars, etc., whatever you want, you can have. Shastra says, I am not going to criticize you. In fact, I will show you the way to do all these things. I will help you to achieve all these things. I will help you to perform Avahanti Homam. The Vedas know there is one Avahanti Homam for increasing the wealth. It's a very popular Homam, Avahanti Homam. Don't ask me if there is a Homam for moksha, so that we can do that Homam and get moksha. There is no Homam for moksha. There is only tapas for moksha. And Krishna says, if you are interested in Swarga, he says, wonderful. Do lot of dharmic karmas, earn lot of punya, get a tourist visa to Swarga, go there for some time, enjoy, and then you come back. All these pursuits are all temporary. Of course, temporary in the sense impermanent. Some may last for a few months, some may last for a few years, some may last for few thousand years. But all will come to an end. Even if you go to Swarga, you will have to come back to this Bhuloka. In 9th chapter, Krishna will say, Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam, kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. So whether you go to Swarga or whatever it is, you have to, after the exhaustion of all the punyas, because of which in the first instance you got a visa to go to Swarga, you will have to come back. Therefore, Krishna is saying, my job is presenting to you the 4 Purusharthas and also presenting to you the means of accomplishing them and also offering myself as a help to you. It is not that I will help you only if you say, I want moksha. I am ready to help you in accomplishing everything that you desire. Therefore, my approach is, what a person seeks, I will bless him to attain that. Ye yatha mam prabadhyante. Let any seeker approach me with any desire. I am not going to criticize him or discourage him. I am not even going to question him as to why he is asking for smaller things, impermanent things. When the Parama Purushartha, moksha is there, I will not ask such questions also. I will not criticize him. Because as a child, when one is interested in the balloon, parents never criticize or discourage the child, isn't it? They will buy the balloon and give it to the child in the hope that after a few years, the child will automatically will grow out of it. So no harm. At this age, it wants to play with the balloon, let it play with the balloon. It is not that when the child is going to get married, that he is going to ask for balloon and all that, isn't it? Even though, of course, he may not ask. But we see many decorations in marriage, lot of balloons are there, probably to remind people of their childhood. Anyhow. So Krishna says, let a person seek anything, I will help him. But there is only one condition. The desires should be legitimate. And the means of accomplishing them should also be legitimate. That is the only condition. One has to follow the law of dharma in all that one seeks and one employs the method. Other than this condition, there is no other condition. Let everyone enjoy the life fully the way they want. Dharma, artha, kama pursuits are part of life, and there will come a time when one will grow out of it. Whether in this janma or in next janma, some time will come. In the life of every jiva, that every jiva who is a human being, that time will come. But one should be cautious not to get totally lost in them. And therefore Krishna says, let a person come to me seeking any goal. Like we saw in the Dhyana Slokas, Prapanna Parijataya. So I am like a Parijata tree for a devotee. I will bless him with anything. Tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. I will approach them. I will bless them with the desired objects. As Mahatma Gandhi said, to a man with an empty stomach, food is God. A person who is hungry will pray not for Tattva Bodha teaching or Brahma Sutra teaching. He will only pray for what? Food. Therefore, Krishna says, if that person prays to me, tells me that I want food, I will approach him with what he needs, what he desires. And at the same time, for the moksha seeker, Bhagavan will also bless him and guide him for moksha. And that is what is said here, Tams tataiva bhajamyaham. And the reason for that is that he says, my devotees, mama vartmanu vartante sarvashaha. All my devotees approach me through different means, through appropriate efforts, like appropriate puja, appropriate japa, appropriate karma, appropriate upasana, etc. Since they are coming to me by appropriate means, my job is to bless them with the appropriate end. So to give the devotees the appropriate results for the means that they employ is my duty. Therefore, I will bless them with whatever they want. Manushyaha partha sarvashaha. This is my approach, O Arjuna, he says. So therefore, the takeaway is that Bhagavan, with whatever desire we have, we approach him with sincerity. We approach Bhagavan with the means which are prescribed in the scriptures. Those will certainly be fulfilled. It is not that Bhagavan will be partial to some people, and he will be look down upon some people when they want kama purushartha, etc. He will view everybody. If he is a devotee, he has to, of course, come to Bhagavan with all sincerity. Now we'll go to the next sloka. Kankshantha karmanam siddhim yajante iha devataah क्षिप्रम हिमानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा. The Anvaya is Kankshantah Siddhim Karmanam Yajante Devataah Hi Siddhihi Karmaja Bhavati Kshipram Iha Manushe Loke. Kankshantah, seeking, Siddhim Karmanam, the result of action. Yajante, they worship. Devataah, gods. He, because. Siddhihi, the result. Karmaja, born of action. Bhavati Kshipram, comes quickly. Iha Manushe Loke, in this world of human beings. So here Krishna is indirectly pointing out why Arthakama Purushartha is very popular. Most of the people go for that. Whereas Moksha Purushartha is the least popular. Very few, in fact, you can count them on your fingers, they go for Moksha Purushartha. So he says, seeking the results of action, they worship gods because the result born of action comes quickly in this world of human beings. So here what he is trying to point out is, he says, I have presented two paths, that is two ways in the Vedic scriptures. The first part of the Veda deals with karma marga, a life of activity, a life of effort, where you go through certain processes. By and large, this path prescribes the actions to be performed for attaining the three Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha and Kama. The second path is presented in the final part of the Vedas called Vedanta, otherwise called also Jnana Marga. So Karma Marga, other one is Jnana Marga, which lays down the prescription for attaining the Moksha Purushartha. So in fact, if you look at the Veda as a single means of knowledge, single pramanam, 80% of the Veda mantras, they consist of karma marga. It is only the 20%, the end portion, Upanishadic portion, talks about Moksha Purushartha. And this is totally in alignment with how the human behavior is. So Krishna says both Karma Marga and Jnana Marga are there. My job is not to force anyone on any path. I will present both the means and also the ends. I will also point out that karma phalam is anityam. We have already discussed earlier in the third chapter that all the results of karma are finite and they are full of defects also. The results of karma are dukkha mishritvam. And also atriptikaram. Dukkha mishritvam means it is always accomplished. The accomplishment of any result, any desire through karma marga, through actions is a pain. You have to do so many things. And after acquiring, preservation is a greater pain. And finally, if you happen to unfortunately lose what you have obtained, that's the greatest pain. Therefore, any amount of accomplishment through actions will not give satisfaction. That's why he says it is atriptikara. And whenever we are talking about achieving something or attaining something, it can be done only through dependence on external factors. So these are all the defects of karma phala. So Krishna is implying here that karma kanda gives finite results. A process is involved, action is involved, and the results are the end product of the process. And these results are finite. However, if you are interested in infinite results, Vedanta or Jnana Kanda says it can never be the end product of a process. Infinite, mathematically you cannot derive. Infinite can never be the end product of a process. Because any process, any action produces a result which is within time alone. Because it has got a beginning, and by the same logic, it has got an end also. So infinitude or purnatvam can never be the result of any effort. It has to be in the form of knowledge only. It has to be in the form of jnanam alone. And what is this knowledge which is infinite? The moment we say infinite, it cannot be restricted to any time or place. Therefore, it is beyond time and place. Infinite has got no beginning, infinite has got no location, infinite has got no end also. It is eternal, it is purnam, it is completeness. And therefore, infinite cannot be reached through a process. If one's nature is finite, it can never be converted to infinite by any process. Only when one's nature itself is infinite can one aspire for infinite. Therefore, infinitude or understanding that one is infinite, one's nature is infinite, is a matter of discovery. It's a matter of understanding and realizing one's real nature. And this knowledge is not finite. Once you have discovered your nature to be infinite, you can never become finite again. You reduce anything from infinite, it will remain infinite. You cannot add anything to infinite, you cannot reduce anything from infinite. So this is the result of moksha purushartha, which is external, nityam. Therefore, what? Jnana marga leads to nitya phalam, karma marga leads to anitya phalam. And this has been presented by me. Krishna says in the Vedas very clearly. But here Krishna seems to be lamenting. He says, even though I have clearly pointed out and the people are experiencing regularly the limitations of the karma phalam, but the tragedy is still majority of the people, after long thinking, they go behind all karma phalam only. They vote for the wrong party. If they do it without thinking, it will still be acceptable. But they do it after thinking. They learn the Vedas, everything. Still they are going behind karma phalam. They do it after they are warned. Says that is the tragedy. So majority of the people after long experience in life, they choose karma phalam, which is anityam. And why do they do that? There is a reason. Because to perform karma, the Shastra prescribes only physical purity and not purity of the mind. To do a ritual, they do not need sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, viveka, vairagyam, etc. They are not prescribed in the Shastra. But since purity of mind is involved in jnana marga, which is a prerequisite, and since purity of mind is extremely difficult to get, people take the easy way out. The moment we talk of giving up raga dvesha, they give up Vedanta. Like someone said, I was going on the road. There was a banner, don't drink and drive. Therefore, I gave up driving. So they take the easy way out. Therefore, Krishna says, Karmanam siddhim kangshantaha. Many people are interested only in karma phalam, result of action, finite result. In Kathopanishad, it is called preyaha. Majority chooses preyaha as against shreyaha, which is moksha. Shreyascha preyascha manushyametah tau samparitya vivanakti dhiraha shreyo hi dhiro bhi preyaso vrinite preyo mando yoga kshemat vrinite. This is the Kathopanishad mantra. It says for a human being, both finite and infinite are available right in the front, right before them. The intelligent chooses the infinite. Dhiraha, Shreyahai Dhiraha. The Dhiraha here means the intelligent one, the wise one. They choose the infinite, Shreyaha. Whereas the Mandaha, the unintelligent, chooses Preyaha, the finite. So, Mandaha Karmanam Siddhim Kangshantaha. All the people, they seek finite results only. And once you choose karma phalam, the Vedic rituals are very elaborate. You know, if you have done puja or yajna at home, how elaborate, especially when you do this even marriage rituals or even prayaschitta karmas like Shashthyabda Bhukti and all. So much elaborate arrangements have to be made. Or otherwise, they will say you should go to this temple, offer such and such thing on such and such days. Oh, you got a Shani dosham. To remove the Shani dosham, you should go down to the temple on a Saturday and light the lamp. Or go on a Paurnami day, go for 7 Paurnami days and offer this grain. Somewhere they will say you offer salt. Somewhere they will say you offer mustard seed, something like that, you do all these things. All these karma phalam, this running behind this karma phalam involves lot of effort, involves lot of expenditure, involves lot of time. It involves some specific prescriptions. Offer yellow cloth, red cloth. Shani Bhagavan offer black cloth. So many things, they got so many conditions. And they will say that if you fulfill all these conditions, you may get the result. And suppose you don't get the result, they will say, oh, you must have not done something which was supposed to be done. So there is no guarantee also there, karma phalam, you will get what you desire. But without understanding all these things, these people worship Devataha Yajante. They go after varieties of deities. They will go to Navagrahas. All 9 planets. They will go round and round and round Navagrahas. praying, oh please give me putra paut, what's that? Dhanam dhanyam pashum bahuputra labham shatasamvatsaram dhirgamayu. This is what they will keep on praying. So devata hai ajante. Why? He says because karmaja siddhi kshipram bhavati. Even though there is no guarantee that whatever you do will deliver the results that you want, but still, if you have done everything properly, Vedas assure that the karma phalam is quicker compared to jnana marga. The karma phalam will happen very quickly. Like for example, we read, Dasharatha performed Putra Kameshti Yaga. He didn't have a child. It's a karma. And he got 4 beautiful children. Shipram Bhavati. Whereas in Jnana Marga, it requires consistent efforts over a long period of time. One has to start with Karma Yoga, which itself could take one lifetime. Assuming that you are successful, you gain enough purity of mind. And then enter Jnana Yoga. Once you enter Jnana Yoga, you get into Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. It is not easy. You might have purity of mind, but the mind may not be able to concentrate. So you have to train the mind to concentrate. All sadhana, chatushte, sampatti, all come into play. As even you go through Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, you have to maintain all this, you have to maintain the purity also. But once all these are gone through, the result of the Jnana Marga is guaranteed. It is instantaneous. It's like a wedding, Because when a wedding takes place, it only takes a few minutes for the actual wedding to happen. The Mangalya Dharanam or Saptashati and all that, Saptapati, all that doing few minutes. But imagine the preparation for the wedding could take years and years. Many people who have got children of marriageable age will know how difficult it is to find a proper groom or a bride these days. You take out the horoscope, go, looking on suitable match and all. But once everything is done, wedding takes place. Few minutes, wedding is over. Like that, Jnana Marga, once you have gone through the whole course, whatever is to be done, then the Jnanam is immediate. Nothing more is required to be done. So Jnanam requires only one statement. And what is that statement? You are what you are seeking. Understand that. You are seeking freedom, but my dear, you are already free. All that is required is for you to understand that you are free. And because of your ignorance, you came and studied Upanishad, Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, all that you did. Eventually, what you are going to understand, you are going to understand that I am what I am seeking. Therefore, drop the seeking, own up your nature. That is the only thing. If you reach that stage, Vedanta is over. That much alone is Vedanta. But for this statement to work, you have to start not from many years, but start from Aneka Janma Samsiddhim. Tato Yati Param Gatim says. Preparation should start from many janmas before. In fact, all of you must have started the preparation long before from many janmas. Otherwise, you would not be interested in these classes. In this janma, because of curiosity, if you would have joined these classes when we started. But if you don't have the preparation, you will not be able to stick on. 107th class we are in. 107 classes, 107 weeks, more than a year. Sorry, more than 2 years. 52, 2 years. Sometimes I wonder how time passes. You would not have been able to stick on. So you all must have started this preparation, the spiritual part, long before, even before this birth. That is why you find yourself here in this class of Bhagavad Gita. Even if you say, but Guruji, we don't understand all that you are teaching. There are certain things we don't understand. That is okay. Understanding is a different thing. I personally know that most of what is being taught is understood by you. And because of your understanding only, you have got questions which we discuss in the satsang after the class. But the point is, whether you understand or not, you have a desire to log in and attend the classes as regularly as possible. What forces you to do that? There is some unseen force that is called Purva Janma Sukritam. Therefore, Krishna says, Karmaja Siddhihi Kshipram Bhavati. People who are not interested in purification, they are only interested in the limited goals of action. That is why they go behind all these finite results which are delivered through karma. And in the next sloka, Krishna describes his prescription in the Vedas for guiding the mankind to lead a harmonious and peaceful life. It's a very, very important sloka, and it's also a very misinterpreted sloka. And many of these people who are now out on the street to destroy Sanatana Dharma, they use this sloka and conveniently interpret it to what they want to profess. We will not go into too much of that. But I will point out why people read in this sloka what they want to read, not what the sloka tells. We'll go into the details. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram abhimam vidya kartaram avyayam. So Anvaya is Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah viddhimam tasya kartaram api akartaram avyayam. Word meanings, Chaturvarnyam, the fourfold division of the society, Maya Srishtam, has been created by me. Guna Karma Vibhagashaha, based upon Guna and Karma. Viddhimam, may you know me. Tasya Kartaram, to be its author. Api, also, means also may you know me as Akartaram, to be a non-doer, Avyayam, and changeless. See here, on the face of it, Krishna seems to be contradicting himself. On the one hand, he says, I am the author, I am the doer, I am Karta. Then he says, I am also non-doer and changeless. So, question is, how can you be both? On the one hand, you say I'm a doer, and then you say I'm a non-doer, right? You will see all those details. So, what he is saying here is the fourfold division of society has been created by me based upon guna and karma. Know me to be its, may you know me to be its author. Also, may you know me to be a non-doer and changeless. Now, we have been seeing that the Lord has given the scriptures in the form of Vedas, which is what in the Avatara Rahasyam, that portion we also saw that. And the scriptures talk about what? Material ends and also spiritual end. While material ends can be numerous, spiritual goal can be only one. What is that? Moksha, freedom, liberation. So, Bhagavan has talked about two types of goals, spiritual and materialistic. And he has also talked about two types of paths, karma marga and jnana marga. And Bhagavan has talked about the seekers also in the form of human beings. Because all these are relevant only for human beings and not for any other animal. So here Krishna says, not only I have given the Vedas to fulfill different ends, I have also prescribed a lifestyle, an ingenious device by following which a person can accomplish both material and spiritual ends. Usually, spiritual ends and material ends are diagonally opposite. Because in material ends, I am seeking external factors to get happiness. And this involves, as we just now saw, going from one dependence to another dependence. Because I want to accomplish more and more and more, my dependence on external factors goes on increasing. Whereas for moksha purushartha, moksha pursuit, I am depending on myself only. I am not leaning on any other thing. Only myself I am leaning. So one is leaning on other dependencies, another is non-leaning on other dependencies. One is acquiring pravritti marga. Moksha marga is renouncing, disposing, nivritti marga. One is attachment, another is detachment. Kathopanishad says, Dura mete viparite vishuchi avidya yacha vidyeti jnata. So, given that the spiritual and material ends are diagonally opposite, Bhagavan says, I have to design a unique lifestyle by which a person can accomplish both material ends and also the spiritual end. And what should be that ingenious lifestyle? It should be such a lifestyle that a person must be able to fulfill all his material desires, materialistic desires. If Vedas say do not pursue materialistic desires, that would be the most unintelligent advice. Well, what will happen? People will discard the Vedas. Vedas have to understand, it is meant for human beings. It has to cater for the needs of the human beings. And Vedas have to understand that different human beings have got different goals, different types of pursuits. So it has to cater for all such, types. Therefore, the Vedic lifestyle encourages one to fulfill his or her desires. And then for fulfilling those desires, it presents certain disciplines. So what Vedas say? You just follow these disciplines and then you can fulfill your desire. All that you need to do is just follow that. But the beauty is Vedas prescribe the discipline without telling the purpose. Instilling discipline has got a hidden agenda. Because when you lead a disciplined life, a life of discipline, even in your pursuit of materialistic desires, those very disciplines become very helpful when finally one takes to spiritual path. Because when material desires are fulfilled following the disciplines, then gradually one gets out of the materialistic desires. That is the undeclared purpose of the disciplines. Because by following the discipline, one connects with one's higher nature and thereby gradually outgrow materialistic desires. Vedas do not, that's why Vedas, there is no suppression of materialistic desires. That's why Vedas says, they do not say don't have materialistic desires or advocate suppression of materialistic desires. Because suppression can lead to a negative impact. Therefore, following the Vedic discipline for fulfilling the materialistic desires, one discovers the spiritual desire as the most natural one, and also discovers that the pursuit of spiritual desire is not to be considered as a denial of materialistic desires. That's a beauty. Such a beautiful blending of the materialistic pursuits and spiritual pursuits is prescribed in the Vedas. So when I come to spirituality, after having exhausted all my desires, I would not miss anything in life. That gradual conversion takes place. Such a life design is the Vedic life design, which is called Varnashrama Dharma. We all know about Varnashrama Dharma, which, as I said, was a raging topic in Tamil Nadu today. So, as the creator of the universe, Krishna is Srishtikarta. And he mentioned that in his role as Avatara, he is Sthitikarta, sustainer of the world, sustainer of Dharma of the world. And the Lord, of course, has got another duty also, which is a very painful duty, painful from our perspective. In addition to Srishti and Sthiti, he is also the Layakarta. He is the one who removes at the end of karma, prarabdha karma, carry away people, animals, all living beings. Even though people may cry, beat their chests, etc., the Lord has to take the job of Layakarta and destroy things also. So, Srishti, Sthiti, Layam, these are my main duties, Krishna says, I am involved in. And for the maintenance of harmony in the creation, he has designed, the Lord has designed a way of life for the human beings, which is the Veda, which is meant for our own use. It teaches how to live a life of harmony in which both the individual as well as the society will grow. Because often there will be a conflict between the individual goals and the society's goals, or individual interest and the society's interest. The Veda has designed a particular lifestyle where both of them are equally taken care of. There is some disturbance. Somebody is unmuted.
Yes, Jai Shri, mute.
He's in this class or in some other class, I think. So,
This class only, Guruji. I was just telling my slogan with myself. Sorry. I'm listening.
you please mute, because my thoughts get affected.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, the Veda has designed a particular lifestyle. Both individual and social interests are taken care of. As an individual, while I should contribute to the well-being of the society, at the same time, I have to also take care of my own growth also, isn't it? It cannot be at the cost of my growth that I contribute to the society. And this premise, the Veda accepts as legitimate and presents a method by which one can take care of the self-interest, at the same time, parallelly take care of the society's interest also. And such a lifestyle is called Varnashrama Vyavastha. So this Varnashrama Vyavastha consists of two subsystems, Varna Vyavastha and Ashrama Vyavastha. Vyavastha here means, we can say, system, a design, a lifestyle. A plan consists of Varna and Ashram. And as we know, Varna means the fourfold division of society. And that is the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This is meant to take care of social harmony and social growth. And the second is Ashrama Vyavastha. The scheme of 4 stages of life: Brahmacharya, Grihastha-ashrama, Vanaprastha-ashrama, and Sannyasa-ashrama, which is meant for individual growth. And this individual growth has to parallelly take place along with the social growth. My growth cannot be at the cost of causing harm to the society. At the same time, I cannot go on contributing to the society and in the process harm myself, my family, etc. Because there are some people who are interested in social service, social work and all. They serve the society very well, giving all the time, resources, etc. But often what happens is they do not have time for their own family and children. They may be very famous, popular in the society, but at home, they are very unpopular. So that is also not correct. Therefore, both Varna Vyavastha and Ashrama Vyavastha are equally important. And here in this sloka, Krishna is referring to the Varna Vyavastha. He does not talk about Ashrama Vyavastha. So even though Krishna does not talk about it here, and even though we have talked about Ashrama Vyavastha and all in Tattva Bodha and other texts that we have seen, we will briefly understand what is Ashrama Vyavastha before we go into the sloka talking about Varna Vyavastha. Ashrama Vyavastha consists of 4 stages of life, as I said: Brahmacharya Ashrama, Grihastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama, and Sannyasa Ashrama. The very word ashrama does not mean some physical place. It means a stage of life. And through these 4 ashramas, it is shown that every stage we are growing, or we are supposed to grow inwardly, spiritually, or not merely materialistically or financially. Because even otherwise, when we look at the word ashrama, it is a place we understand is meant for inner growth, spiritual growth, and not outer material growth. So, from the Vedic point of view, the entire life, all stages in one's life are meant, are directed towards one's spiritual growth only. In and through all material pursuits, what is the underlying purpose is spiritual growth only. So the whole life is divided into 4 ashramas. So first ashrama is Brahmacharya ashrama, which is the stage of studentship, stage of education, in which one has to learn about the human goals. And the teachers in the Gurukula system taught that human life consists of 2 goals: material goal, in which we have to earn money, we have to do all things required for our life, like food, clothing, shelter, entertainment, etc. So the student is told, Vedas accept this, so you have to grow, you have to earn, you have to be prosperous. But then at the same time, it is emphasized that material growth alone is not enough. Parallelly, one should grow spiritually also. One has to spend time for inner growth, for which religious life becomes very important. Spiritual life becomes very important for inner growth. And therefore, a balanced growth of outer and inner personality was stressed in the Brahmacharya ashrama itself. So this is the first stage, the stage of learning, where I come to know the goals of life, both material and spiritual goal, and also how to attain those goals. I come to know, I learn, I get the knowledge. Then comes the second stage of life, which is called Grihasthashram, wherein the implementation begins. What was learned in the Brahmacharya ashrama, that is put to practice. Well, during student life, there is no question of any implementation, because life is spent in study, learning, gaining knowledge. And there is so much to study, so much to learn. There is no time for practicing anything that you are learning. Other than, of course, the sadhanas meant for brahmacharis like Samhita Dhanam, Sandhya Vandanam, etc. And when you come to the Grihastha Ashrama, what is the lifestyle in terms of implementation? It is initially Karma Yoga Pradhana life. Plenty of extrovert activities. Because that is how human being is born. An extrovert mind. Plenty of desires. I want this, I want that, etc., etc. I want to accomplish this, I want to accomplish this. Vedas says, go ahead and accomplish. Pravritti Marga, it's called growth path. And Vedas says, I will tell you, do this homam, avahanti homam. Taittiriya Upanishad talks about this. Avahanti vitanvana kurvana chiramatmanah vasagum simamagavascha annapane cha sarvada tato me shriyamavaha. What is the prayer? I should get lot of wealth, lot of clothes, lot of fruits. I want name and fame. Veda says there is nothing wrong in seeking name and fame. The next mantra in the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Lo masham pashuvi sahaswaha amayantu brahmacharina swaha vimayantu brahmacharina swaha pramayantu brahmacharina swaha damayantu brahmacharina swaha shamayantu brahmacharina swaha yasho jane sani swaha shreyan vaso Vasya sosani swaha tantva bhaga pravishani swaha sama bhaga pravisha swaha tasmin sahasra shake nibagaham tvayi mrije swaha yata papravృతాయంతి yata masa aharjaram evam mam brahmacharinah dhaturayantu sarvata swaha prativeshosi pramabhahi pramapadhyasva. Beautiful shlokas. The meaning of this long sloka, may I become famous among men, swaha. Offering, I offer whatever is there, swaha. May I become richer than the rich, swaha. O gracious Lord, may I enter into thee, swaha. May thou, gracious Lord, enter into me, swaha. O Lord, I am cleansing my sins in that self of yours, which is like a river of 1,000 branches, swaha. O preserver, as waters flow downward, as the months merge in a year, so may brahmacharins come to me from all directions. Swaha. Thou art the refuge, you are the refuge to me, you shine forth. Accept me unto yourself completely. Swaha. This is the prayer. And this is the Grihastha in which one fulfills all his desires in a legitimate manner. We'll stop here, continue in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari
Thank you.
Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari
हरि ओम
Om.
गुरुजी धन्यवादः
Dhanyavad.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Yes.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hari Om. Hari Om. Ramakrishnan ji.
Hari Om.
Namaste. Hari Om. I think the last class you had asked me a question and I told you I will find out, isn't it?
Yes.
About sadhu, right? Sadhana and sadhu.
Yeah.
Actually, I forgot.
No, it doesn't matter. You can
Okay.
either tomorrow
Yeah, I
or
know this much that sadhana is from sad dhatu, right?
yeah.
So actually sadhana means a end, that is the goal.
Class,
Right? Sorry?
you can tell tomorrow or next class.
Yeah, I'll tell. I'll tell.
I will remind you.
Yeah. Okay. Because when I saw you only, I remembered. Promise you.
No, I didn't. No,
That's why. I'm sorry about it. Okay.
no problem. I will remind you tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. Tell me, what is your question today?
Guruji, you were telling in the beginning that everybody is trying to be independent. It is the nature to become that we are striving to become independent because we don't want to be dependent on anything or on anybody. But is it at all possible? We may be trying because I am now talking in the relative sense, not in the absolute sense. In the absolute sense, when we are talking about at the supreme level, yes, because we are the ultimate, we are the supreme. But in the relative sense, when we are in the world, is it at all possible for me to be independent? How can I become independent when I depend for anything and everything on either on a living being or in the nature? Even to unless the nature blesses, I will not be able to even breathe. I am dependent on the plant and the animals, and I don't know how can I dependent?
Well, the answer to that is, if you think you are dependent, you are dependent. Because
No.
dependence causes what? Dependence causes a certain degree of expectation, isn't it? When I am dependent on, let us say, my wife for my food. Give me an example. That dependence translates into an expectation of me that I need food. Right?
No, I will see that. I will put it in a different way.
Okay.
You want food.
Hmm.
Can you produce the food? You forget about getting the food cooked in the kitchen. Okay, that is then the wife comes. Now food as an entity, the food. Can you produce the food crops? Are you not dependent on the farmers?
See, when we are talking about freedom,
Yeah,
moksha,
yeah.
what are we talking about?
No, I didn't mean in the absolute. That's what I was telling you. Not in the
Not in absolute sense. I'll tell you what. Let me come to that.
Yeah, please.
What is the biggest problem that we face in our life? Because of dependence. Can you answer me the question? We are depending on so many people.
Yeah.
Because of which we are facing a problem.
Why do you say that? Is it at all possible for me to be independent?
No, I am coming to that later.
Okay.
My first question is, dependence, what is the problem dependence is causing for you?
My own, I feel frustrated.
Correct? What is frustration? Emotional disturbance.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
When we are talking about independence, we are not talking about independence from our requirements for maintaining this body, mind, sense complex, which I require for me to stay in this. This is my abode. But we are talking about freedom from emotional disturbances. So that means what? You may feel that you are dependent on somebody for something. But that somebody fails to meet your expectations, you get emotionally disturbed. So the dependence gets converted into emotional disturbance. All we are talking about independence is not getting emotionally disturbed, which is a result of the dependence. So you may be physically depending on somebody, but when the somebody doesn't meet your expectation, you don't get emotionally disturbed or frustrated, as you said. That is independence. And that independence, today, I consider myself to be dependent because I consider myself to be limited. I cannot do everything. I cannot grow the crops. I cannot make the food. I cannot, I can eat, of course, myself. But all the other things I cannot do so I am feeling limited. So my dependence is there on other people, other things, animals or plants or whatever it is. I have dependence, right? Why?
Yeah.
Dependence arises from a feeling of limitedness. But we understand that limitation is related to my body, mind, sense complex and not to me. I have got nothing to do with that limitation. So far as I am concerned, I am free, I am independent, and that is because that is my nature. That is why through and every in and through every dependence, I am looking for becoming independent, because independence is my nature. The reason why we don't want to live in rented house or buy our own house or buy a car, we don't want to travel by a transport, the public transport.
That's because of my ego.
No, not your ego. It is because your nature is to become independent. You are always traveling, finding the level. It's not like a water, water they say they will find its own level. Everybody will go towards their nature only. All our pursuits are in realizing our true nature. And because we are ignorant of that, we have got lost in this samsara jungle, and we think that by getting this, we will become independent. By getting that, we will become independent. Is that not the reason? You tell me, whenever all these material pursuits are there, what is your motivation? When you are living in a rented house, dependent on the landlord, whims and fancies of the landlord to ask you to vacate at any time. When you want to buy your own house, what is your motivation? What motivates you to buy your
That is because I want my own house.
Why? Why do you want your own house? What did that?
Because
own
I want to possess it.
Why you
Today,
want to possess it?
that is because of my ego.
No,
We-
it is because of your problem with living in a rented house. It is a different matter. Suppose you are living in such a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
You want another 3-bedroom house. That is for getting relief from the dependence on the landlord and the rented property. Whereas you are already owning a 3-bedroom house, but you want to go for a big bungalow. That may be because of your ego. You want to show off to people, I'm living in a big bungalow. Right?
Guruji, say I am now staying, say for example, I am staying in my house. I have, let us assume that that is a rented house. And tomorrow I am going to buy this house. And I have paid the money and I have bought it. I am staying in the same place. I have not changed my house. Till today, I have been paying rent. And from tomorrow onwards, I can claim that I am the owner of this house. But it is the same house. Everything is same.
Doesn't matter. What has changed now between when you are living as a rent and now in the same house you are living as a owner? What has changed between?
Change is till today. I never
You are
felt
paying
that.
rent.
No, it's not the question of rent here. Till today,
You're free from paying
no,
rent.
Please let me complete. Till today, I didn't feel that it is my house.
What does it mean to you? You are using so many words. My only question is, in your status between yesterday and today, when the same house you have now bought, you are no longer a tenant. What has changed in your status?
My possession, it has come to my possession.
What does it give? Your possession, what does it give? You had a, okay, let me ask you this question. Why
Yeah.
did you buy the house?
Guruji, I am not arguing with you. I am
No,
only
I'm
trying
not
to.
arguing. I am trying
Please,
to explain to you
Yeah,
with the example that you have given,
yeah.
what exactly has happened.
Okay.
Now, you were staying in the same house. Yesterday, you were a tenant. You have today become an owner, correct?
Yeah.
Now, why did you want to buy the house? Why did
Because-
you not continue to be a tenant and pay the rent to the landlord continuously? What prompted you to get a good amount of money paid to the landlord and buy the house? What was that motive behind that?
That is because I wanted minus. I wanted to possess the thing.
What
I
does
wanted-
the possession give you? What did that possession? Because you wanted to get rid of something by possessing, correct?
Because of my tendency to accumulate, to buy and to possess.
What have you accumulated? The
I-
house was in your possession yesterday also as a tenant.
Yeah.
Today also the same house with the same furniture is in your possession. So, so far as your possession is concerned, nothing has changed between the two.
But mentally,
Wow,
It is-
mentally, what has happened? Mentally, what has happened?
till today, it didn't belong to me.
What does
From
that
tomorrow onwards, that is my own ego that I wanted to possess it. It is me. I am the owner of the house.
I will
Today,
tell you, do you
yes.
accept what I am saying or not? You think
No,
about it.
I understand.
Till yesterday, you were a tenant having the same possession of the house.
No, I didn't have the possession. Mentally, I never felt
Possession means what? You were living there, you are having the possession. You are
True.
not owning the house. Owning is
Yeah.
different, possession is different.
Okay.
Owning is different. You are possessing the house. You are living in that house, possessing the house.
Okay.
But you may not be the owner of the house.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Now,
not.
between possessing the house yesterday
Yeah.
as non-owner
Uh,
and today possessing the house as an owner, what has changed? You can't say you ego is because of ego, because ego does not, ego means something you should have acquired new to show to people. That is not happened. It's the same thing, same house, same furniture. Nothing has changed except a piece of paper you have got. Now you are the owner of the house. That's all, right?
yeah.
Why did you do that? What was your purpose of buying this house? Why do most people buy a house? Tell me that.
Security.
Security means what? What is the other side of security? Insecurity? They wanted to get rid of some kind of insecurity.
Yeah.
So they bought the house thinking that this will give me security. Correct?
Yeah.
But you are there. What was that insecurity earlier? The insecurity earlier was dependence on an external person.
Yeah.
For continued permission to live in this house.
Yeah.
Any time I could have been asked to leave this house and look for some other house. Or in terms of financial terms, rent every year, rent may be increased 10%, 20% like that. I can't say no. Otherwise, the landlord will say, get out of this house. Right?
Yeah.
Security.
You can sublet the house.
Is arising out of what? dependence on that landlord for your continued living.
Yeah.
Now, by buying the house, you have got rid of that dependence.
Yeah.
Means what? You have become independent as long as the possession of this house is concerned.
Yeah. Okay.
Correct?
Okay. Yeah.
One example, very small example of a good example, in fact, you suggested a house in which you were still yesterday a tenant and today you are a owner, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But has your independence, have you fully established your independence by this?
No.
Yes, no,
No.
no.
No. No. Even because,
Therefore, what Shastra says, independence or freedom is not something to be achieved. Independence and freedom is already you are. You have already achieved. You are free. You are independent. But you are, because of your ignorance, you are taking yourself to be dependent. That is because you are taking your identification with your body, mind, sense complex. You are taking yourself to be a limited entity. And that limited entity feels, I cannot be everything. I cannot do everything for myself. So I am having all this dependence. Whereas Shastra says that, in fact, all these limitations you are talking about, which is about your body, mind, sense complex. It has nothing to do with you. If you understand that you are different from this body, mind complex,
true.
then you are, what your nature is, it is independent, is free nature. What you are doing is, you are confusing the nature, the real nature of me as consciousness, as Sachidananda, which is my real nature,
Yeah.
with another aspect, which is my body, mind, sense complex. Because all along your orientation is, when you say I, you are referring to the body, mind, sense complex only. You have no clue that there is something called consciousness, that is why my real nature. You have no clue. So every time, and when we are talking about dependence, independence, it is not at the level of body, mind, sense complex. It is at the level of spirituality. Relatively, as you said,
it is not possible.
Not possible. But
today,
but you can go on reducing the dependence and reach a stage like a sannyasa. When you renounce everything, when your ego, what you talked about, ego is diluted to such an extent, it will not matter to you at all. Whether you are staying in a rented house, whether you are staying in a platform, whether you are staying in some go down, it will not matter. Whether you get food to eat, whether you don't get food to eat, it will not matter. That is the last stage, sannyasa stage, the stage of highest spiritual claim, rather. You claim what it is. Even your detachment with your body, mind, sense complex will be so high that all the needs of the body, mind, sense complex will become, it will not be a necessity at all. If it is there, it is there. Not there also, not there, it doesn't matter. That is the freedom we are talking about. That is the independence we are talking about. At the current level, there is no question of independence. But we should know, what that independence means. So, you have to understand it from a Paramarthika level, what the Shastra is trying to tell you. Because they are two different realms of reality. This is empirical reality. That is absolute reality.
Yeah.
From absolute reality point of view, your nature is freedom.
I am always independent.
Always independent. You have actually taken this burden of dependence on you because of your ignorance.
Ignorance. Yeah.
That's what it is. So when you go to the spiritual path, What happens? It's like a rocket going to the moon, like our Chandrayaan 3. How does the rocket go? Rocket consists of some 6-7 stages, right?
Yeah.
As it goes up and up and up, one stage falls off. And finally, when it reaches the moon, only that module or whatever it is they're supposed to be there, that reaches the moon. So like that, as you go through the spiritual path, you have to disentangle all those stages one by one, one by one, one by one. Because till such time, the dependence is not there for these stages to give the thrust for the rocket to go. So similarly, through Grihastha-ashrama, through Vanaprastha-ashrama and all that, these are the sadhanas which are prescribed. You keep traveling, finally you will reach independence. That freedom, you will realize I am a free person. I have no emotional entanglements with anybody, with anything. I might have had entanglements earlier, but now I have realized what my true nature is. I don't have any emotional problems. I am always free, smiling. All that I have got is a lot of love and compassion for everything in this world. Because I have come to realize that the whole prapancha has been created by Bhagawad, by Ishvara, and there is no difference between me and Ishvara. If Ishvara is the Sthiti Karta, I am also a Sthiti Karta. I have to take care of this entire world. When you reach that highest level, then you are totally free. And that is the aim, that's the goal of the Jnana Marga. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, you see, we can never be independent in the relative.
Relative can never be. We are not talking about relative independence at all.
Yeah.
We are talking about, see, on the one hand, suppose you are not free.
Yeah.
Suppose you are not by nature independent. You can never become independent.
No.
Correct?
Yeah.
But by nature, if you are independent, but because of so many other factors, extraneous factors, you understand yourself to be dependent, Shastra says, you can get rid of this feeling of dependence by going through the knowledge, spiritual path. Eventually, you will understand that you are actually independent. All these dependents were all because of your ignorance. That's what Shastra says. So we are not talking about getting some few Gita classes I attended or I become independent. No, we are not talking about that.
No, that's only a, for me, that is very important.
That's the end goal.
Yeah,
but then in and through every action of ours, how many times you have heard parents tell, I don't want to be dependent on my children in my old age. Have you seen that? Have you heard that?
Oh, every day. Every
day, right? What does it mean? It is showing a glimpse that by nature I am independent. I want to be independent. So one thing you pick up, I don't want to be dependent on my children. Number one. So children are cut out from dependence. Then other things one by one you will say, I don't want to be dependent on my house where I am living for my living. I will pack one small Jola bag. I will keep traveling Rishikesh and all this ashram. Wherever I get something food, I will eat. Wherever I get to stay, I will stay. Otherwise, I will stay in a railway platform. Doesn't matter to me. So I will reduce the dependence on all these other infrastructure that we have. I am waiting for a bus for a long time. I say I'll stop my dependence on the bus. Wherever I want to go, I go walking. I'll become independent. So every small actions, if we observe and analyze and understand, what we are doing throughout our life is getting rid of some kind of dependence. But unfortunately, when we get rid of one kind of dependence, we actually replace it with another kind of dependence. That is what is happening. So that's why we find that we are not able to get out of this dependence quagmire at all. For which
Chakravyuham.
this knowledge is helpful for us to
We-
get out.
We are in the Chakravyuham. We are not
Chakravyuha. So we have to get out of the Chakravyuha, for which the knowledge says this is how you have to do it. And it happens when you are proceeding in the spiritual path, I can tell you, automatically it happens. That is the beauty of it. Okay, Hari Om. Anjali ji.
Yeah, Namaskara, Guruji.
Namaskar.
Guruji, we were seeing these 4 varnas and 4 ashramas. So in those days, old days, these 4 ashramas are applicable to only Brahman varna?
All people, ashramas are separate individual level growth, varnas are society level. So brahmacharyam, this thing, what that grihastha ashrama is applicable to all people. This is universal rules, universal system.
Yes, because this brahmacharya, we have seen that brahmacharya ashrama usually they will show that reading scriptures, learning Vedas,
Yeah,
all those things.
but
So
not
that's
only
why I thought
Vedas.
it
No,
like
no.
Hmm.
Vedas is only one part of the learning. In the Gurukulams in those days,
Hmm.
for example, you take Mahabharata, this Pancha Pandavas.
Hmm.
They went to the Gurukulam, they were Kshatriyas.
Yeah.
Apart from the Vedic knowledge, which will be less for them,
Hmm.
they will be given training in warfare.
Hmm.
That is how Dronacharya was their teacher.
Yeah, correct.
Understand? Whereas if it is a person who has got see, the other thing we have to understand, I will talk about all this when we in the next class and all, when we talk about this Varna Dharma, Varna Vyavastha. See, this Brahmin, Shudra, Vaishya and all, they were not based upon birth.
Yeah. Guna karma vibhaga.
Guna and karma only.
Hmm.
Krishna doesn't say guna karma evam jati, right?
Hmm.
Jati means what? By birth.
Hmm.
What has happened is, over the period of time, guna and karma people have forgotten and they have only kept jati.
Jati. Hmm.
In fact, they have converted the whole thing into jati as a birth. It is
Yeah.
not necessary that I am a Brahmin and my son also should be a Brahmin. He could be a Kshatriya.
Hmm.
Because his guna could be a Kshatriya guna and his karma should be a Kshatriya karma.
Hmm.
He may be a colonel in the army, my son.
Hmm.
I may be a Vedanta teacher, right?
Yeah.
So Vedanta, as a Vedanta teacher, I will say, oh, I am a Brahmana.
Hmm.
Correct? But my son can be a Kshatriya, or he could be a banker, a Vaishya,
Vaishya.
or he could be a cinema actor, a Shudra.
Yeah. Today we are like that only.
They we are like that
Yeah.
only.
Hmm.
And that is why all these controversies, because people have no understanding of what this Varnashrama system is all about. And because that system has gone defunct actually.
Hmm.
Over a period of time, the system has gone defunct. And everybody in the, the Kshatriya is supposed to be a protector of the people.
Hmm.
Police force is also Kshatriya duty. Karma wise, police force is a Kshatriya.
Hmm.
Do they really protect the people?
Hmm.
See, so if you have to say Brahmins are not following the Brahmin karma, nobody is following their. There are people born in Kshatriya family, so-called Kshatriya parentage, but they will be a banker or doing business and all that. It's a Vaishya karma.
Hmm.
And as I said, Shudra category is the one who serves the other 3 categories.
Yeah.
A very important category, because without their service, these people cannot survive. But Shudras, the problem is, guna wise, they don't have a Brahmana guna, they don't have a Kshatriya guna, they don't have a Vaishya guna. So the balance. So what the Shastra said, or the Vedic lifestyle said, okay, you guys are also important for the society. You take care of the needs of the other 3.
Hmm.
That's why I said cinema actor, drama actor, all are Shudra, because they are
But the
entertaining
heroes
people.
today.
Other three people, they are entertaining.
Yeah, and they have become heroes today.
Yeah. So when you look at guna and karma, the whole understanding of the varnashrama dharma will change.
Change.
That is what it is. And Krishna
Mhm.
is talking about that only. He is not talking about what we talk of varnashrama dharma today.
Yeah.
Jati doesn't come into the picture. Birth does not matter. A person, let him be as per the constitution a scheduled caste person, right? Scheduled caste means is equal to Shudra, we will say, correct?
Mhm.
But that person, suppose he is a very erudite person, a scholarly person,
IAS officer.
not IAS officer, he is a teacher. He has learnt a lot and he is a big teacher.
Mhm.
Somebody like say Ambedkar,
Mhm.
Dr. Ambedkar,
Mhm.
professor in a college and written the constitution and all.
Yeah. Mhm.
Actually, by guna and karma, he is a Brahmana.
Brahmin, yeah.
So that is what we have to understand.
Yeah.
Brahmana is not a label. Brahmana is a profession. Brahmana is a certain qualities. When we talk of guna, we talk of three gunas: sattva guna, rajo guna, and tamo guna.
Mm.
People who have got sattva guna pradhana are called Brahmanas.
Mm.
Kshatriyas have got a mixture of sattva guna and rajo guna.
Mm.
Vaishya is rajo guna. Tamo guna pradhana is
Shudra.
Shudras.
Mm.
That's all. That's why guna and karma. I'll explain all these things, as we go. We see this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is how we have to understand all these things. And once our mind is clear, we will not
Mm.
get trapped by all these things, Brahmana and Kshatriya and all that.
Mhm.
In fact, I don't know whether you know, there was one serial long back in Tamil serial called Enge Brahman by this Cho Ramaswamy. There was one serial. So I used to say there is a wrong title. You should ask, Yar Brahmana, who is a Brahmin?
Mm.
In today's world, you don't have a single person who is a
Pure
real
Brahmin.
Brahmin.
Yeah.
Maybe there are some which I don't know, but all the people who claim to be Brahmin, whom I know, I can say that they are not Brahmins as per the way definition of Shastra.
Yeah.
That's all. So that is how it is, all that, Kali Yuga.
Oh. Yeah. Thank you.
Hari Om. Any other question? I think that's all. A lot of people have left also. So we'll close the session. Continue next class. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Dhanyawad. Thank you.